Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So where are you right now?
I'm at my family compound in Berkeley, California.
Okay. Are you actually on tour at the moment?
No, no. it- I mean, if you, okay, I won't go there. No, I'm not on tour at the moment.
Oh, you can go wherever you can go wherever you want. The Rochester gig just is it kind of a one-off or
Yeah, yep, it's the one off.
at this point?
We were trying to organize a bunch of other dates around it, but they just never seemed to be able to materialize.
Okay.
And my sister is up there, so she's up in Canada, and she does different stuff up in that area. And she was the one that said that they came to her, and she came to me. I went to my people. We set it up, and we were thinking of trying to set up several, like a 5 or 7 day, dates up in that area, but
Yeah.
nothing seemed to be able to work.
Are you here often then because your sister is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm impressed you know the name Canandaigua. I know that's one we have to tell people how to pronounce and as teach people about the area and things like that.
Yeah, well, I grew up east of there, so all that area is like familiar with me, you know, familiar
Whereabouts?
to. I grew up I was born in Harlem, and I grew up in Massachusetts, went to UMass, and, played music all in that whole northeastern quadrant, before I went west in the 60s.
Yeah. So you're going to be opening our Rochester Jazz Festival. I think it's opening night at the Eastman Theater. You were here in 2009 as well.
Hmm.
Tell me about these days, what kind of vibe you get when you're playing a festival like this?
Well, I mean, people are really, really excited to hear live music always.
Yeah.
I mean, is so much of it is driven by the by whatever they're calling the industry nowadays here, and the framework and construct, the paradigm of the states is totally different than the rest of the world, who is still like playing vinyl and listening to real music. And here
Mhm.
it's like whatever you can create some kind of, you know whatever digital confab, or
Yeah.
I've always been playing out where the people who know the music and who know what they want and are there.
Right.
I don't usually play a lot of these kind of like, we don't know what we're listening to festivals, but we're here because it's a day out on the park.
What are the audiences like these days?
When they say the audience is the same, if they're if they're engaged and hip, well, that's what they are. They're there for the music. They know how to listen, and they know how to react and respond. And they also know that you know um, the audience is a part of the performance. That's the rules that the American music scene always, they don't really get it. It's like the people in the audience, they go like, "Oh my God, I wish I was on stage," and the guys on stage, wish they were this, that, and the other thing. It's like it came from an African form, where is that the audience is a conscious part of the performance. Not just an adulation, a conscious part of the performance. And most of the time, that's what the audiences that I get are there because of what it is that I do. And and the music that they love, and that I represent that to them.
Are you finding you've got the type of audience that, like they've got the cell phone out and they're following your every move, or or hands down or hands clapping?
Uh, all of the above. I mean, we try to discourage the whole idea of being. You go into a concert, be there. If you're looking through your viewfinder, you're not there. Why go do that? Stay home, let somebody else upload it, and look at what they put up there. But I mean, I don't really. We usually discourage people doing that. It's like, why are you gonna go do that? And it's like how, after 60 some odd years of being in this business, don't people realize I can see I'm watching them? You know.
Is that
But
kind of
yeah, I mean, the jazz festival is a lot different. You got much more using more knowledgeable people, and even if they're out there for a good day, and they pretty much vibe off of what the other folks who really know what the music's all about. Yeah, and they get along with it. Everybody has a good time. European audiences, South American audiences, maybe Australia, New Zealand, Japan. They're just a lot more aware and a lot more generous with their positive vibe.
Yeah. Since you know the area, any particular memories of playing around here?
Mm. Well, in general, the audience is much more intelligent and in tune. They're not just you know fair weather fans. You know, they're I mean, we played gigs. We played the whole Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Syracuse, you know, Rochester. I mean, all of that across that. I guess it's 90 going across.
Mhm.
So we've done that. I mean, done it over the years, different places. Down to Ithaca and Binghamton, and you know, and wherever Cornell is, all those places like that.
Yep, for
I
sure.
mean, I started out playing through those areas back when I was going to UMass. We had a band and we traveled throughout the Northeast and had a really good reputation for bringing man, having people dance and really enjoy themselves. A lot of music. We did a lot of covers. We didn't have any. I didn't have any. I wasn't doing too much writing in those days, but
Yeah.
eventually I started writing a lot more. So, and pretty soon, that's pretty much all I did was either about the tradition or something that I had written within the tradition or the styles of music that I was interested in, putting out there.
At this point, when you're a couple weeks out from the show, do you know your set list? Is it something you're always working on?
No, I never have a set list. I've never put a set list on a guitar. What I play is what you write down as to what I played. That set was what I did that time. I don't never have a set list.
Wow. Even to start, you have an idea. The
No,
first note
no,
you
no.
hit was
It's like get up, make sure the instruments are in tune. Then whatever tune hits me to open up with, we go with. You know, and then that leads to whatever's next.
yeah.
Sometimes you want to just play something to just clear the air, and then start. Or what happens? You just get to be a shadow of yourself. And it's like for years I probably made the audience really kind of frustrated because I wasn't connected to the you know I'm playing like everybody else. I came out of jazz musicians. I went to hear you go to hear John Coltrane play. He's not gonna play these favorite things, my favorite things. He's gonna play what he's playing, what he's feeling at that moment. So I mean, I always had a bigger, wider idea of what to play. I mean, yeah, I'll play stuff off the albums, and it took me a bunch of years to really figure out, okay, these guys are locked into that. There's nothing you can do. You can't lead them out of there. And the industry's worked real hard to keep everybody within a narrow confine of what they're making money on. So they're not encouraging people to be experimental. But there's a group of individuals out there who've been listening to me for 50 or 60 years, and that's what they love about it. Is that it allows them, to be a farmer in wherever, and turn on the go on the internet, but now also go everywhere wherever they want and listen to the type of music. And then some people are still listening to their albums, and they're really excited about the music, and it's led them into to be able to travel through music wherever I go.
The stage you're playing at, the Eastman, a year ago, Keb Mo was on that stage. I know you got a lot of attention for collaborating with him. Who are some of the? I know we're talking a long career here, but who are some of the folks you've collaborated with that stand out, that are some favorites?
No, there's no favorites, man. You know, we're all a part of a musical society here. You know, a musical. I mean, we're excuse me, a global clan of musicians. You know, and you know, I mean, what we're really excited about is bringing more music to people, for people to realize that there's no way with your record collection or your interest in music, you will ever in this lifetime or 100 lifetimes listening 24 hours a day, you know, 365 days a year, hear all the music or hear most of the music that's been recorded.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 82 years old, man. I just had my 82nd birthday. Okay. And actually had it when I was just recently in Africa. And the thing is that I'm still learning my instruments. I'm still growing because I came on, you know, this is a gift that came to me through culture, through DNA, you know, and you know, it's something that you have to take care of, you know, and look out for. And so you're here and this is what you do. And I mean, I'm still blown away by music that was recorded, I'd say between um 1910 and say 1960, you know, 59 to 60, you know, and even after that, maybe say 1970, of all the music that's there and what kind of intensity these musicians have put into creating the music, many of which have never sold much more than 25,000. You know, in the old days, 25,000 records sold as of a jazz record was like a monument. Well, I mean, that really is no big feat. You know, I don't know why those guys are clapping themselves on the back for doing that. I mean, this was fantastic classical music that was being composed by American composers under tremendous amount of duress, you know, and I mean, they more than gave at the, you know, they gave at the club, at the church, at the house, you know, at the banquet, at the picnic, you know, on the stage. You know, I mean, look at the amount of work that Duke Ellington did. You know, yeah, and also too, because of the business interfering with the culture, people don't have no ability to be able to access the music that came before them. You know, I mean, I'm playing music. I just came from where I can play with musicians that are 110, 115, 89, 72 generations doing what they did without any interference from the outside. And, you know, I mean, there's this critical mass moving forward as opposed to the law of diminishing returns, which always finds its way into music here. It's like, well, if it's 10 minutes old, it's you know, it's old
Yeah.
school, you know.
So at 82, it's probably a dumb question of me to even ask if you have any intention of slowing down. Doesn't
To what?
sound like it.
No, that's not a matter of slowing down. I didn't get on the train. I was brought here in this state. It was clearing the deck so I could do what I could do, you know. And I was, you know, I mean, I've been able, there's, I don't know how many albums there we got out there now. So we got a lot of them. We're now starting to round up all this stuff. And it's amazing. It's an amazing body of work. And people are like, I'll play something for somebody which is like 25, 35, even 40 years old. And somebody says, guys, is something new? No. You know, it's like, well, I was busy trying to give people alternatives to hear the value of great culture. You know, my ears listen completely all the way down, you know, from Argentina to Brazil, to Colombia, to Peru, Ecuador, you know, I mean, Panama, Venezuela, you know, the Caribbean, Africa, you know, Europe, you know, I mean, where's the music coming from? Where are the people
Yeah.
playing it? You know,
Why the
I
guitar?
mean,
Why was that your instrument?
why guitar? Well, because I lucked up on when my stepfather came with one. He was from Jamaica and he wanted to learn how. I didn't know this until years later when we did a book and they interviewed him and he told the story of how the guitar got in the house. But no, my dad was from St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean. That was where his family was from. He was born here in New York. But he was a piano player and a composer. And that's how my parents met at the Savoy Ballroom, listening to Ella Fitzgerald play with the Chick Webb band when she first came out. But I grew up listening to all that kind of piano, voice. I mean, I didn't even know my ears were keenly trained. I thought everybody heard the music. They didn't. I'm not mad at them. I just wish I had really understood that everybody didn't have that kind of training, and it wasn't formal training. I had 2 weeks of piano lessons. I play about 20 instruments. Because a lot of times, it's like there's somebody in the band. You hear a band and it's missing a mandolin or a piano or harmonica or whatever. You put that on or play it with the band. I mean, it's like when you hear about Ray Charles, a lot of people think of Ray Charles as a piano player and a singer. When you ask Ray about it, Ray say, "Hey, I'm a utility musician. Whatever you need in the band. We just want to set the horns up, arrange this, do this. It's about the music, man. Really. That's what it's about. And it's about valuing the gift that you've been given. You know, and so maybe that flies in the face of popular music or whatever. I mean, it hasn't stopped me, and it's not a matter. Like you say, at 82, slow down. I know of musicians who are musicians as long as they're on the stage playing until they can't do it anymore.
It's funny. I don't think you can hear the party going on in the other room. A colleague of mine, news anchor, is actually retiring today at the age of 80. There's a big party going on the other side of this wall right now, actually. And I have no doubt he could still keep going, if he wanted to. It just kind of felt the time was right. I love that you've got that kind of attitude.
Always have. All you have to do is talk to me. And I guess I wasn't important enough that, I mean, they put a lot of microphones in front of my face. Most of the time I talk about it, and then they draw a couple of what they think are nuggets out of it. And, I stopped giving a lot of interviews after a while because I just realized they weren't there for what I was talking about. It was what came there to sift through the coal, find out there's a diamond.
Well, then I'm honored you took some time with me too, Taj.
No, not a problem, man. I mean, the point is that okay? You guys have got, this has been a good festival. I mean, I'm several different. I think 2 times I've played the festival before. I think this is probably be the second time or the third time.
Yeah, I think second.
Second time, okay. Yeah, I mean,
at least this festival. I know you've been here for other things.
Yeah, right, for other music situations. But yeah, it's always been. Also, I remember that Son House was living up there for a while, and that's when they found him the second time around. And yeah, I have relatives that live in that area. All that kind of stuff.
I think I got a guy in the other room at this party who wrote a book on Son House. So.
Oh yeah.
Incredible, that he wasn't busy. I'd grab him to chat with you. How about the blues in general these days? What kind of what is the state of the blues around the world?
It's absolutely in good hands and in good form. I can attest to it. I mean, when I started out with Ry Cooder and those guys in the Rising Suns, what you had to do is separate yourself from the naysayers who were thinking they're either saving the blues or the blues was dead or going to be dead or whatever. You have to get away from those people because they're approaching, the tail's wagging the dog. Is that there's no way you're going to chew all the flavor out of the blues because it's a state of it's a human condition that no matter where you play that music, what went down to create it is something that people always recognize no matter where you go in the world.
You came up with rock and roll guys. There were probably some people who are saying rock is going to replace the blues, but you had people like the Rolling Stones who probably worship the ground you walked on.
Well, I don't know about that, but they the reason that they're still in business is because they never let go of that which gave them their movement in the first place. All these other guys are posers there, you know, to come and grab something, you know, to get out in front of a bunch of people and and not respect where it came from, or the fact that it's a heavy magic and a responsibility that you've been chosen to do it. And if you don't, you know, I mean, you can burn out real easy. All of them. You see what happens to those guys, you know. But I mean, you know, that's why I mean, you're thinking about, okay, you got the Stones, you got Eric Clapton, you know, those are the guys from that era. But just, I mean, you know, for me, it was like I had to learn how to deal with the fact that it took the British coming back to the United States to teach the Americans about what was right in their backyard. I just thought that was the most shameful. You know, it was really disappointing. You know, that how could you not hear it? You know, you can hear it when it's over here, but you can't hear it when it's over here. Boy, oh boy, that is a shame. You know,
Anybody you look to now, some younger guys who this
there's
is
a
the
lot.
guy
I
who's going to
tell
carry
you,
the torch.
I've already said that the blues is in great condition. There, you know, I made a list out for a guy the other day who went to see um, uh, Kingfish Ingram. Um,
He's going to
and
be in town. He's part of this festival, actually. Funny shit.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he went to see him, and the guy he took his daughter because he wanted her to know what the real stuff was, and um, he's a lawyer. He called me up and said, "Hey, man, I went to see this guy, and he was really." He said, "I was really impressed." I said, "What do you think about him?" I said, "Oh, the guy said the kid's got the magic. There's no two ways about it." So he said, "Well, all right." He says, "Are there other people?" I said, "Look, give me a chance here." I said, "I'll get back to you." Well, I got back to him with like 32 names of people he had never heard of before who are out playing that I know of who are playing, you know, and they're out there. I mean, I can sit here and just start rattling them off. You know, you can start with Kevin Moe, you know, and Guy Davis and John Tavius Willis, and you know, Alvin Youngblood Hart, and you know, Sean McDonald. You know, what's one? Marquise Knox. You know, Marcus Cartwright. Um, Oh God, I mean, just it just goes on. You know, Valerie and Benjamin Turner. Um, Let me see who else we're thinking about. That's just there's youngsters that are out there that are playing.
Yeah.
You know, that have following. And then there's a bunch of guys that really a lot of people don't know about. Toronzo Cannon. You know, um, you know, well, of course, the older guys like Bobby Brush. You know, characters like that, you know, Albert King's son, you know, Bobby Blue Bland's son, you know, I mean, there just so many, there's so many. I just came from the blues, um, uh, the, the Blues Foundation, you know, awards in Memphis. And I mean, it was just an incredible night of incredible players, you know, all coming, and then they do the International Blues, you know, talent award, and there's all these bands coming in from everywhere. I was in India in February, a year ago, February. Okay, and it was absolutely amazing, man. These these kids are playing; they're so beautiful. Of course, they love that I'm called Taj
Yeah.
Mahal. So this is giving them a portal into the older forms of the music. You know, with the you know, the original players, which has been good for them. So they haven't had to try to find their way back from some guy who's shredding the neck on the guitar, claiming he's playing blues. You know, I mean, they know the popular music, but then they've got maybe a 2,000 or 3,000 year old music tradition. So they're coming in loaded, you know, ready. I mean, I've already recorded with some of their great players, you know, Sri Ravi Kiernan and Vishnu Mohan Bhatt. You know, recorded with those guys, recorded with guys in Africa, you know, from Mali and Senegal. I was just recently in Senegal for a while for a jazz festival. I mean, there's just more going on, and if people would expand their horizons, they would find that the music's in very good shape. It's just it's like an urban legend that the music's gone. You know,
As we
that,
talked, I was looking to see if Kingfish was here the same night you are. You're gonna miss him by a day. But when you're at a festival like this, do you get a chance to mingle much with other musicians?
sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's always whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's somebody here, somebody I want to particularly see, you know, we run into one another. You know, you know. I mean, I see. Sometimes you don't see people for a lot of years because we were all working intensely there for about 30 years. Everybody was like head down doing their business. And we were all hanging out in the beginning because we didn't have any gigs. And once you get on, you gotta keep covering what it is that you're there for. You know. But yeah, I mean, it's just what I do, where I'm at, you know,
I hear you.
and it's always exciting because you ran across people. Like I ran across a photo the other day that was hilarious. It was BB King, Muddy Waters, um, what's this guy's name? Um, oh, okay, Sugar Blue, myself, and oh man, what is that guy's name? It doesn't matter. There were like five musicians, and not but BB had told a joke, and all of us were cracking up. We were at the Chicago Blues Festival, and it was a really great picture to see all that many generations of blues players, you know, and that we all knew one another, and
I
we were
bet.
comfortable in each other's presence. And BB and Muddy were very generous, you know, um, you know, they were just very, 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 very generous players and people. BB was warm and generous. Muddy was a little more blustery, but still warm and generous. You know. Oh yeah, Luther Allison was the other guy that was talking. It was BB, Muddy, Luther Allison, myself, and Sugar Blue, and we were all cracking up over this joke that
Nice.
BB had told.
Kind of photo I'd love to Photoshop myself into. That's fantastic. And Taj, I also want to ask you, travel these days. The thing I always hear musicians say is that the work is the travel. They love being on stage, but how is it for you?
You know, they don't pay me to play; they pay me to get there.
Yeah,
You know, excuse me. If you got a good support system, you can take some of the edge off for the travel. You know, I mean, these days, I'm working on other kinds of projects. Tying up my publishing and doing all these different things. And then I have, I have youngsters in my own family that are musicians, and they're carving their way into the business. And so we're trying to create something that will be maybe well, like my girls came over. I played down in Australia at the Byron Bay Blues Festival, and my girls came over from New Zealand and sang with me over there. They're really good, and both of them are Diva Mahal and Zoe Mahal. They're both on, and then Coco Pela Mahal. She's they're just doing things with their genre. Um, it's a creative family. So, and not everybody plays music, but everybody loves music. You know, and that's what's exciting. You know.
Taj, with that, I'll let you go. Any last message you might want to send to the Rochester fans here ahead of the show?
Come out to have some fun. You know, to move around, dance, enjoy yourself. Here's some great music. Here's some interesting combinations of what type of band I'm going to bring with me. When and realize that we're still doing it. Not not because of hit records. We're doing it because it's a gift, and that the only law is that you got to share it.
I love it. Sir, thank you so much for the time. This has been an honor. I absolutely love it.
All right.
Take care. We'll see you in Rochester in a few days.
Yep. You got it.
All right. Thanks very much.
Yeah, right. Hey, remember, we came to knock them alive, not knock them dead.
I love it. Thank you, Taj.
Yep.